Welcome to the Science of Tree Felling series.
In this video, we're going to talk about sights, angles, and balance of the saw. Now, if you notice, I'm going to be hanging onto the saw in a little awkward of a fashion, but it's for your benefit so that you can have the orientation of the user. Again, saws are right-handed, so as the camera angle is looking at the saw, this is the orientation that you would, as an operator, also be looking at the saw. Not how you should grip a saw, but for the presentation here, I'm going to have to do this for you. So sights, angles, and balance of the saw. The sights are lines or felling sights, aiming sights, drawn perpendicular to the orientation of the bar and chain all the way around the saw. So as we look at this, you'll see that black line run all the way around the saw so that in any orientation except for upside down, you will be able to see this black line. This black line is perfectly perpendicular to the bar and chain. And this is going to be pivotal in our tree felling process, that we're going to use this line as a sight when we make our face cut and when we establish our hinge. And we'll talk about that further in the next video. But know and understand that this line here, when used as a sight and when used to cut, is going to give you the direction necessary to be a good feller. So to have this line here, sometimes it's embossed, sometimes it's colored. If it is the same color as the surrounding because your saw manufacturer decided not to make it a bold color, I recommend grabbing some type of marker and actually marking it. And if it fades out, go ahead, grab that marker and remark it, because again, in that felling video, you're going to want to have this colored very prominent so you can see all the way around the saw. And those are felling sights, and they should be built in with any type of professional grade saw, and you need to have these to be accurate with tree felling. So make sure that your saw has felling sights. Of the saw are also important to understand. When you hang on to the saw from the top of the handle, again, my grip is going to look a little different so that you can see the orientation of the saw as an operator. When you hang on to the top handle of the saw, your bar should be straight up and down or vertical in its orientation. When you hang on to the side of the front handle, your bar should be perfectly horizontal in that orientation. And the angle that I want to make you most aware of, that you're probably not, is when you grip inside this corner here, the saw manufacturer has designed and balanced these chainsaws so that when you begin your face cut or your first cut down into the wood, you're going to automatically, by the weight of the saw, be able to access around a 70-degree angle depending on your grip. So as you grip with the proper hand, and I hope this shows up well on camera, into the corner of the saw, when you hang onto the saw properly like this, again, my ergonomics is bad for the video, but so that you can see the orientation, when I'm hanging on the saw, the orientation to the ground of the bar is actually about 70 degrees, so that the comfortable grip in the corner of this front handle is designed to help begin and set a proper open face felling notch. The next thing I want to talk about is balance of the saw. The balance of the saw is going to be a result of the power head in combination with the bar and chain that you've chosen. Now, there's different combinations of weights and weight distribution of power head and length and weight of bar. So when you're setting up your chainsaw, you can either set it up to be balanced initially, or you can know and understand the offsets of those balance and internally make corrections as necessary so that you can make proper felling cuts. So balance, I mean hang on to the top side of your chainsaw and take a look at the orientation of it. If you can see this, the orientation as I'm holding it from the top portion of the front handle is that my bar is heavier and it's unbalanced from my power head. this bar is longer than the counteractive balance of the power head, which means that I will inherently have a tip down or a nose down of the bar if I'm just hanging on to it in this fashion, which means that if I want a perfectly horizontal cut, I have to know that I am bar heavy in this coordination of the chainsaw, to which I will always have to apply a slight pressure to the back handle to get that orientation horizontal. Same thing here, we're going to grab the saw by the side of the front handle. Grabbing the saw and balancing it by the side of the front handle, I'm going to look at the orientation of this horizontal to the ground. When I hang on to it in this fashion, again, you getting the view of the operator, you can see now that my tip is up on the saw and that my power head on this orientation is further back. So if I'm just balancing the saw in my hand, I will not have a level cut. I will know that that saw bar is up, and so before I can get a level cut, I'll have to apply a slight upward pressure on this handle to achieve a perfectly level cut. I cannot rely on this saw being balanced in this orientation or this orientation. Some saws are going to have good balance just the way that they're set up. This one I've set up for some particular tasks, and it's not inherently bad, but it's something you have to know and understand. Otherwise, you're going to have mismatched cuts. You're going to have cuts that are not horizontal or perfectly vertical, and that could cause you trouble for the accuracy of your felling plan. So make sure that you know and understand the balance of the saw, the inherent balance of it in all and any orientation. And if you need to make those corrections, you need to understand those and systematically make those corrections. And knowing that is going to make you a better feller. Hey, if you like these videos and you found something interesting or learned something today, make sure you like and subscribe and continue watching this series. There's a lot of really good videos on here on how to become better. Maybe you're already skilled in tree felling or arboriculture, but it never hurts to hear another person's perspective and learn a little something along the way. So again, if you like what you're watching, like and subscribe and keep on to the next series. See you next time.